Hi everyone, this is Robin from Humane Yoga, and today I'm interviewing Miss Sarah Franks, and she is from Zenly, the owner and operator of Zenly. And you may have seen her in our latest Relax Humans in Residence program, where she's been doing 15 mindful minutes. So I'd just like to introduce Sarah as one of these beautiful in-house yoga specialists, where she works on cultivating peace, and community and corporate environments. Well, maybe she's changed that. We'll talk about that in a minute. And she's dedicated to sharing her skills in mindfulness, yoga, meditation to help people and business to build a better world. So this is quite an amazing aspiration, which I love. And as I mentioned, she's all about sharing these 15-minute mindfulness sessions, helping people to work, live, and love from a peace of calm centeredness. We could all use a bit more of that, I think. So she focuses on bringing these skills to preteens and young women to enhance confidence, intuition, self-care, and communication skills. So welcome to Sarah.
Hi. Oh, I'm so happy we're doing this. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and I love the Zenly shirt right there and all the orange. It's very...
I'm on brand.
Yeah, on brand. It's perfect. So everyone remember, she's Zenly. Just the
Okay. Yeah, bright colors.
Let's talk a little bit about you, Sarah. So it's really awesome that we could make this time. I'm really happy that even though it's Zoom, it's still something, right? And we just wanted to get a bit more guidance about how you work through these 15-minute sessions. Can you tell us a bit how you found yoga and what led you to build this program?
Yeah, for sure. Firstly, thanks for having me. I love Humane Yoga. I love your ethos of making more relaxed humans one at a time. That really resonates with me. Yeah, I'd be happy to share. I'll share the story of me actually finding yoga the first time. I was 22 when I went to my first yoga class, and it's like a whole foreign version of me, because I would wake up and have a 3-shot, no joke, this big coffee and a cigarette. And I woke up and I was standing out the back of my place and about to light my cigarette, and something just kind of changed. I don't know what I was inspired by that morning. I just decided to throw out all of my cigarettes and pour out my coffee. And this was back when you didn't have the gram. So I went into the brochures that we'd gotten in the mail that week, and I was just kind of led there intuitively and found this little $21 21-day yoga things. You remember those? Yeah, the intro offering. Mm-hmm. And it was for a hot yoga place, hot yoga that had just opened up 5 minutes away. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to this. And I checked and they had a class on with in half an hour. So I just got my shit, drove there and walked in. And I just remember being oh, because the women behind the desk were they look like Amazonian goddesses. I was like, whoa. And it really brought up a lot of stuff in me. And I was like, oh man, I feel so uncomfortable. And I was wearing this floaty big shirt. When you haven't done yoga before, you think it's this really, relaxing, which it can be, but this yoga was not that. It was intense. So it was in the hot room and I was in down dog, just fully shaking. And they're like, this is your rest posture. And I was looking underneath, my shirt was over my head, drenched in sweat. I was basically wearing a shirt, sweat drenched mask. It was so bad. And I got out of there at the end of that hour, and I just went, all right, I'm going to get really good at this. And I went every day for 6 months, sometimes twice a day. I got a PT and changed my diet. I did so many things, and I got super duper healthy. And it's interesting though, the physical side came first for me, and then later on, after I had kind of hurt my back and regained the 10 kilos that I lost in that 6 months and was really down, I went back into the yoga space, craving more meditative mindfulness, kindness of self kind of practices. And yeah, it became a really different thing for me. But yeah, that was when I was 22 when I first went there. So that was 10 years ago. And then I started doing trainings from 8 years ago, and have trained in like Queensland, Bali, Sydney. Yeah, and I'll continue to train. I'm going to Costa Rica next year.
Costa
Yeah,
Rica.
so just
Yeah.
yeah, I've always wanted to go. I'm so excited. So I'm going to go do 300-hour there.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Hmm.
That's quite
Yeah.
cigarettes to hot yoga to mindful minutes. So tell me a bit about how the 15-minute mindful program came to you.
Yeah, so when I started putting it together, because I've always I've loved business. I've just always, since I was like 8, I had businesses. Like it was my thing, and I was making money from then. Like I think my first one when I was 8 was a massage company. So I'd walk around with this briefcase, and I had little like towels rolled up in it, and like lotion, and then like price list, like hand massage $2. Like it's
Oh,
just
that's amazing.
like I was always doing stuff like that, just trying different things. And so when I came to Sydney and was like, all right, I want to start something. What am I going to do? And I knew I wanted it to be in line with the practices that had helped me so much in my life. And I initially actually started with just corporate yoga, so doing like trying to do 1 hour yoga sessions for corporates. And the data that I was receiving back was that people don't have an hour. They just don't have that time. And B, they don't want to like get sweaty. So they don't want to even with the sessions now, no one like takes their shoes off and sits on the floor. Like we're around a boardroom table, it's very like corporate, which is great because I am no longer that I went real deep, Robin. I went like halter neck tops and big skirts every day, floating around living in a van. And I'm just like surprised by that now, and it's great that it happened and I swung so deeply. But I saw a text message that I'd sent a friend like 2 years ago while looking back for something, and I was like, babe, I don't talk like this anymore. And she's like, I know, like, yeah, you changed. I'm like, wow. And I'm super grateful because that's been in line with the work and the way of connecting with people who are super busy. They're really focused on climbing the ladder. They care about health and well-being so that it will help them be more productive and more successful, right? And that's where this 15-minute session came in. And it's really in line with that atomic habits that a lot of people, it was like a buzzwords a couple of years ago, and it still remains to be really effective. All you need is 15 minutes. In the middle of the day, say at 11 a.m., you come into that boardroom, you do a couple of stretches, about 3 minutes of stretching. It's all guided and safe. You don't get sweaty. You don't even you don't take your shoes off or anything. It's just you're in your chair. We're doing arm things, and then you do your mindfulness practice of 10 minutes, and then you can just run upstairs and get back to work.
And so how has this changed now that COVID's happened and we're not really always in the office? How do you move business then?
I think we had a coaching call maybe when COVID was hitting, and I was like, because I had only started the business in August of 2019, right? So and you remember, I was just getting going. I had some clients. I was feeling good. I was like, yes, I put all my money into this and all my time, and now it's paying off. And then COVID happened, and I was like, okay. And I was so thankful that my connection to the practices is so strong, and that I have amazing people like you who are around to guide, thankfully, and feel seen, because entrepreneurship can be kind of lonely. So it's nice to you need sounding boards for sure.
Yeah,
and you were great. Yeah, right. And you would have your own. And I pivoted, did the pivot, went online. I went online for 3 months. Huh? You remember?
At the moment. Yep.
I had to, right? Because and I was feeling it. I wanted to help people. And that's still as much as I'm I love business and stuff, that's the core of what I love, is caring for people and providing services that help provide them with more balanced days. So it's not about just rushing through sessions. It's about really reacting. And that's why we keep the class sizes so small. They're capped at 15. So we just and if people have got 45 people that want to practice in the day, we'll just do back-to-back sessions and have 15 people at once, so that we can really connect. And And every time there's people who stay back and we get to talk about what they're experiencing and provide some extra tips and tools, like a breathwork pattern if they're struggling to turn off, or stuff like that. So with COVID, back to your question, I was definitely doing all of that online. So I went online for like 3 months, and I actually worked more than when I was working in-house. And I was like so tired at the end of that 3 months. And I was like, all right. So now, like where we're at now is we're doing mix, like a blend. So you can still have, if there's 5 people on site and 10 people at home, we put them together, and I'll go in with my like this setup and be like, all right, hey, but I'm really excited about getting back in from March to the full in-person sessions, because that's where like the magic really happens. And I think we are, like, as much as I'm loving talking to you via this method, I think we are a little bit like, all right, give me the real, there's different hormones that are released in person in comparison to being on tech.
Yeah. And I think it's still one of those times where you can't always experience that mindfulness. Like even playing music or anything through video is really tricky. You've got to share playlists, and sound healing is a different experience. So I completely understand, like,
right,
same thing. Yeah. So Humane
yeah,
a bit of everything, but we do prefer face to face. Yoga teacher.
yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that, like, it's unanimous, right? Because it means that we'll push out of it. And I was talking to someone the other day, and they asked, like, how is this different from a mindfulness app? I'm like, dude, I love apps. Like, we love them, but they're not for everybody, right? And it's so easy. I do it as well. If I'm using an app occasionally, I'll like kind of tune the person out, because I'm like, oh, they're not really here. But if it's a person in a room, they're much harder to ignore. It's harder to ignore us. So yeah, there's that argument. And there's also, the argument of accountability, and also, like I mentioned, that direct feedback.
And so when you go to sell this program to corporates and say, you can't ignore me if I come to you. If I'm on the tech, then you can ignore me.
Yeah, totally. You can press mute and just be like, I was there. It's like, no, you weren't, buddy. You stressed. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. I'm glad it's still going really well, and it gives a lot of encouragement to other yoga teachers that are still trying to find their way through this whole new world that we're navigating. I wanted to ask some questions, because I don't think people know this, but you're also a musician. So I wanted to talk about what you released last year, and where the inspiration for music comes from, and if that fits your practice as well.
Yeah. Like, okay, so me saying before that I got really tired after that 3 months, I had the privilege of being able to take 2 months off. Like, I was still teaching privates, because I love my private student collective that I work with. I work with people with like postural stuff. I work with people who have depression, anxiety, young girls. I did programs with the Inner West Council in Sydney to help teen girls with confidence, mindset, communication skills, which I'm super passionate about, because those are all things that happened for me really late in life, and it took like a lot of breaking in order to get in there. So I'm all about getting them out before that. But music is definitely like something that I bring into those sessions, using singing bowls or guitar. I also play piano, and I write music. So in that 2 months, I was like, I need some joy in my life. I think, it's really important to keep joy up front, because that is why we're here and alive. I don't think we're alive to be doubting or fearful or stressed. I think we're here to actually achieve our highest purposes. And for me, like, even though music isn't my like career, it's my place of joy, and it's something that really balances me out as a person. So the stuff that we made last year within that 2 months, it's off an EP. But can you listen to it?
Yes, I did. I did the same.
I'm so glad. Thanks for listening. I love it. It's like soul music, but a little bit like country in one of the songs, a little bit jazz. Like, it's weird. I don't know, but I have fun with it. So I work on that project with a mate of mine called Hugh Tidy, who's a percussionist, Sydney Symphony, and for a bunch of other projects. And yeah, he's really talented, and really lucky that he has a home studio where he lives. So we just hang out there and make music. And I still try to do that at least once a week as well. Just go and like play piano and sing my face off and really get that flow right. Like with yoga, it's all about flow and just connecting to that space. And this is what people have at work, they find that space for them where they're just in the flow, like connected. So a lot of our copy is like directed towards that phrase.
So what's the name of the song and where can people find it if they want to go stalk around and look at your stuff?
Oh my God, Robin, there's 4 songs. One of them's a minute 10, so I don't know how much that counts. But yeah, the like title track of the EP is called Pieces. And that's I love that song. Pardon?
That was the song that I listened to. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, there's more. Yeah. So that's the title track of the EP, and then the name of the collaboration. We just call it a collaboration because we get a bunch of different people in. It's called Frank, but FRNQ, so it's kind of a play on my last name.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put these other songs off to you. I'm sure you only sent me the one, so I will.
Where you been? Yeah, maybe I sent you the wrong link. That's on me.
We'll get it up there, and so people can check.
Yeah, it's cute. Hopefully, we'll do some shows later this year. We're actually applying for a grant to do a 360 show, which I've always wanted to do because I love playing shows. Like, I love recording, putting like songs together. We're doing that now, but like, yeah, it is such a nice way to share music live, which kind of comes back to that in-person feeling, like where you can like feel the vibrations moving through you. And I don't know, I just turn into like a different person on stage. Like, it's been a while, so like I'm excited to see what that looks like now and what it feels like.
Yeah, wow. It sounds really cool. And it's such a privilege, I think, to be able to do that again. I think being out and listening to music live is such a different experience, like you say.
For sure. I think like maybe we'll come together in more open ways. Like, especially, I don't know how it is up there, but like in Sydney, it can be a bit cliquey, like, and just, people have got their groups, their friends, their subcultures, whatever. And I hope that, things like people connecting to their mindfulness practice, like in a meta way. So for anyone who doesn't know, meta in a meditation practice just means loving kindness for yourself and for everyone else, and really recognizing every sentient being has the right to be happy and should be happy, and also in sharing music together, I hope it shows that like random people start dancing together. And I'm excited. I think it's been a great time of introspection. It's been really hard. Like, I'm not going to be like everything's great, because it was hard, but where it is now is pretty cool, and I'm excited to keep going.
Yeah, and blossoming out, it would seem.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
And
basically, because we are about relaxed humans at Humane Yoga, I wanted to ask you what your favorite thing is to do to relax, and
oh man,
pleasure in it.
Easy. Like binge watch Parks and Rec or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, because my relationship with my computer is like, right, here we go, we're working. So like, if at the end of the day I can be like, go do a practice, I've got a beautiful studio around the corner, I've got a home studio here that we'll practice out of soon. But if I can just like take that separation for a second and then come back and just like chill out snacking and watching Parks and Rec, then I am happy gal.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I do love Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine when I get the time. It just is so funny and disconnects you from
so fun. Yeah. Right? It's so good just to like turn your brain off like that. I love it. Like, and it's helpful, like being mindful and just being attuned into like when you don't want to do that, so because I think I used to do it and just like be like, well, this, because when I want to do something or when I'm doing something, I get really stuck and I'm just like, let's go. Like, I will just go for it, like stuck in a good way. But now like my mindfulness practice is so strong that I'm like, I can tell if it's like been enough time and, there's work to do. And it's very much like a reward, which feels great.
Yeah. So that really good connections and understanding of yourself and all that intuition. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the yoga is great for that. And I've done like MBSR, which is mindfulness based stress reduction. So I did that training, and DBT for 6 months, which is like one of the four components is mindfulness. So I feel like very connected to those practices. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
I love it. Well, let's take a quick break and then we'll go into the practice. So for those of you that are
sounds
watching
good.
at home, we're going to drop a link down here where I'm pointing so that you can
Hmm.
into the YouTube video, which Sarah is going to do with me right now. So we'll see
Yeah,
you on the other side.
come with us. Bye.